So if you guys have been around the channel for a while now, you'll know that I love stories. In fact, we've dove into some of the biggest Call of Duty characters of all time, starting with Captain Price, and then we branched off to the Black Ops games with Alex Mason. And today is really no exception, except there's a little bit of a difference, because this is the first time ever we are diving into a character with two very different stories. Now, the character that I'm talking about, of course, is GAZ. Now, the interesting part about this is we have two versions of this character to go in. The Call of Duty 4 version, aka White GAZ, and then the Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2019 version, which I guess we can just call Kyle Garrick. Now, these two characters have a lot of similarities, but they also have a lot of differences, and in this video, we're going to dive into the differences and similarities of both of these two stories. Ladies and gentlemen, today I present to you the full story of GAZ. Starting out with the Call of Duty 4 version of GAZ, the first thing you need to know is he is a member of the British SAS. Similar to Captain Price, his call sign is Bravo 5 instead of Bravo 6. Now, GAZ is one of the most integral characters of Call of Duty 4, as he is nearly there on every single mission. Now, believe it or not, GAZ is actually the very first character we hear in Modern Warfare, even before Captain Price.
Good news first, the world's in great shape. We've got a civil war in Russia, government loyalists against ultranationalist rebels, and 15,000 nukes at stake. Khaled al-Assad, currently the second most powerful man in the Middle East. Now word on the street is he's got the minerals to be top dog down there. Intel's keeping an eye on him.
And the bad news?
We've got a new guy joining us today, fresh out of selection. His name's Soap.
The first mission you actually see GAZ on is Crew Expendables, essentially the first mission within Call of Duty 4. He's with you in the helicopter as you drop onto the ship. He is the one who actually finds the shipping container with the Russian nuclear device in it, and he is with you all the way until the end of the mission to the final escape. After Crew Expendables, our characters need to go and save their Russian informant Nikolai, and on this mission, they don't actually know where he is until GAZ takes some initiative and actually interrogates Sergeant Komarov.
Look, the final assault has already begun. With a little bit more of your sniper support, we are sure to be victorious.
Enough sniping. Where is the informant?
Что ты делаешь? Что с ума сошел?
Where
Что себе
is he?
позволяешь? The house! The house of the northeast end of the village!
Well, that wasn't so hard, was it?
That is right, the same Komarov that we see at the end of Modern Warfare 2019.
Komarov.
Captain Price. Nikolai. You've been a bad boy.
From you, that's a compliment.
Please.
Now, going back to Call of Duty 4, GAZ's next big moment is the interrogation of al-Assad. After breaking in the door and finding al-Assad, the interrogation begins.
Sir, it's his cell phone. Who was that, sir?
Zakhaev. Imran Zakhaev.
The next mission that the SAS go on is to flush out Imran Zakhaev, and the way that they do so is by going after his son. And in this mission, GAZ actually goes undercover to confirm that Viktor Zakhaev is there. And after chasing him down, things don't quite go the SAS's way.
No!
Shit, kid's got some issues. Nice play, this is Bravo 6. Zakhaev's son's dead. We're coming home.
After this, they find out the location of Imran Zakhaev and track him down to a nuclear launch facility, and after very briefly saving the world, the SAS division then tracks down Imran Zakhaev. And after a brutal chase scene, they end up on a bridge after a big explosion. And what happens next shocked us all. Now, if you didn't already notice, that is GAZ right there. And that is the end of GAZ. Never talked about again, never seen in any other Modern Warfare games until this year. But the thing is a lot of people don't know this, is GAZ was actually never ruled dead. He was considered MIA after this entire mission was covered up by the government. They were never allowed to say that anyone died during it. So technically during this mission, GAZ was just missing in action. And in fact, in Soap's journal from Modern Warfare 3, we find out that Soap's really distraught that GAZ's family never got to know what happened to GAZ. But enough of this sadness, moving on to Modern Warfare 2019. Now we are talking about Kyle Garrick, and he joined the British Army in 2014 and very shortly after got into the SAS, or Special Air Service. Now, after this, he served in many different areas, including Northern Ireland, Bosnia, Turkey, Iraq, Afghanistan, and Syria. Now, where we pick up in Modern Warfare, Kyle Garrick is working as a counter-terrorist specialist firearms officer for the police service. He's still a member of the SAS, but working within the police service. And we pick up in Piccadilly Circus, where he is tracking down some terrorists, and everything seems to go wrong. And throughout the mission, you fight your way through Piccadilly Circus, and alongside Captain Price, you end up defusing the situation. Well, actually, you don't end up defusing the situation.
See my girl!
It's going off. I can't get it.
No time! Help me! Help me! Wait! What are you doing? No! No! All stations. Room is clear. Prep medical are coming up.
And after a brief discussion with Captain Price, it leaves Price with one decision: recruiting Sergeant Garrett onto Bravo 6 to help take down Al-Qatala.
We don't stand a chance in hell with these rules of engagement, Captain. They can tell us where, they can tell us when. Don't tell us how. My men were tracking that cell for weeks.
You had actual intel on this?
Quite a bit, sir.
Okay, Garrick. You're with me.
Now, Sergeant Garrick and Captain Price then go on one of the coolest missions ever in a Call of Duty game called Clean House, where they have to breach and clear an entire house full of terrorist forces. And in doing so, they get to the end of the house where they see a lady who appears to be friendly, but all of a sudden she goes to reach for something. And as Sergeant Garrick, you have to make the hard decision to, well, put her down.
Joshua, please! They were going to kill me!
Don't move!
They
Stop!
locked me in here!
Drop her.
Stop!
Clear.
All teams, townhouse secure. Commence SSE.
Copy, boss.
Roger.
Trust the place, Sergeant. See what you can find.
Oh, fucking hell. She was going for a bloody detonator.
Good job we dropped it in.
We made the right call, sir.
We'll bet your ass.
Now, in the safe house that they infiltrate, they actually end up finding out the location of the wolf, and Alex and Farah end up being able to track him down. After which, they take him to the US Embassy, where Kyle Garrick and Captain Price are sent in to extract him and bring him to some safe location. Unfortunately, things don't really go to plan when Al-Qatala forces break into the embassy, forcing them to have to sneak out. Now, the way they do this is Kyle Garrick actually talks a secretary through sneaking past Al-Qatala forces to bring them a security key to escape the facility, after which they bring the wolf to a secure building where they have to defend it. Unfortunately, by the end of the defense, Al-Qatala forces are able to break the wolf free, and he is once again on the loose. Now, eventually, Alex and Farah track down the wolf, end up killing him and defusing the bomb that is attached to him. But at this point, we find out that the wolf's not our main threat, and rather Hadir is the one that stole the gas. Now, the only way that we are able to find Hadir is by tracking him down through the Butcher, the wolf's right-hand man. So, in a mission called Old Comrades, Captain Price, Nikolai, and Sergeant Garrick go after the Butcher. And after they end up capturing him, after Nikolai hits him with a car, they end up interrogating him. This is where Kyle Garrick ends up with a few options. You can either sit the interrogation out and let Captain Price do his thing, or you can opt into the interrogation and you end up threatening the Butcher's wife and kid to get information out of him. Either way, you end up finding out the whereabouts of Hadir, what turns out to be at Roman Barkov's residence. Captain Price and Sergeant Kyle Garrick go and track him down in a mission called Going Dark. And after a mostly sneaky mission, you end up in Roman Barkov's office and track down Hadir. As it turns out, the reason why he was there is to find out the location of Roman Barkov's gas facility, which eventually the whole crew ends up going to take down in the final mission. Now, if I'm being completely honest, Kyle Garrick, or Gaz, really doesn't do much in the final mission. The only thing he does is end up planting some C4 on a part of the gas facility, and that is pretty much it. But the big twist actually comes in after the campaign is over. In a discussion with Kate Laswell, Captain Price talks about putting together a task force. The first person he wants on that task force is Kyle Garrick, but there's a little bit of a twist.
This is the son, Victor.
Lovely family.
They're big fans of Hadir's.
Well, that would explain why he's still alive.
They're gonna get him out.
Then give me what I need.
Who's your crew?
Sergeant Garrick.
Kyle?
They call him Gaz. He never said anything.
It turns out that this entire time, Sergeant Kyle Garrick was none other than Gaz, the iconic character from Call of Duty 4, just a newer version of him. Now, the point of Captain Price wanting to bring back Gaz in the future is to put together a task force.
Sure.
Never. Now the rest. That's neat to know. Unless we got a deal.
What are you calling this task force?
141.
Ladies and gentlemen, that is right. Task Force 141 is back, and of course, Kyle Garrick, or Gaz, is a major part of that. Now, an interesting thing that we didn't really talk about in there is that Gaz, in the original Call of Duty trilogy, was not actually a part of Task Force 141. He died before Task Force 141 was actually made. But that, ladies and gentlemen, is the full story of Gaz, aka Kyle Garrick. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, I always appreciate it if you do hit that like button. On top of that, if you like what you see here and want to see more, the best way to stay up to date on all my videos is make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you turn notifications on. And also, I'm curious, which characters would you like to see me cover in the future? We've covered a lot already, but is there a certain character you'd like to see me dive into? Let me know down in the comments. But guys, as always, I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, peace out.
We are reaching for the stars, but we're made